Welcome to Year 8, 2 of 4 lessons on multicellular organisms. As a hearing impaired and an indigenous students are within us, my major focus is on EDSL's teaching standards APSTs 1.5, 3.3 and 4.1. This will provide belongingness to students who require special considerations. This lesson explains the structure and functions of organs and organ systems of multicellular organisms, covering Australian Curriculum Code or Content Descriptor ACSSU 150. According to EDSL, by demonstrating the standards, you can have the maximum impact on the learners. According to Australian Curriculum Assessment and Reporting Authority, the achievement standards can support formative and summative practices and provide the basis for consistency of assessment and reporting. The key ideas of science set by Australian curriculum for Year 8 students require students to be introduced to cells as microscopic structures that explain macroscopic properties of living systems. Therefore, the learning intentions are set accordingly. Students will be able to understand the concept of multicellular organisms and their system of organs. They must identify and elaborate the structure and function of these organs in multicellular organisms. The achievement criteria set by Australian curriculum involve the analysis of relationship between structure and function at cell, organ, and body system levels. Therefore, I have made success criteria in accordance to the achievement standards set by Australian curriculum. This involves identifying organ with organ systems. The student must describe organ structures and functions and relate its importance to the whole multicellular organ system and organism. Students should be engaged in collaborative learning and depict the understanding through assessment. And for all this, a good teacher-student relationship is required. As stated by Churchill, a good teacher-student relationship leads to a higher student performance. Coming to classroom management, my students already have some prior knowledge on the classification of organisms in diverse groups and interaction between organisms, which they learned about in Year 7. And this will form a strong foundation for me to teach students the further concepts of multicellular organisms. Akara's key steps involve the focus on abilities that helped me to design the lesson based on students' current level of learning and their range of abilities. I have kept in mind the use of visual aids, remembering that Georgia is facing some hearing issues. Therefore, videos will be shown to her with captions and some headphones will be given to her. Nuan, coming from an Aboriginal culture, likes to draw posters with some beads to show his understanding on different concepts. Several resources and teaching strategies will be used for this lesson. This involves the use of notebooks to write down the key points from the screen or whiteboard, the use of screen or the smart board for the same, the use of headphones, especially for Georgia, who is suffering from hearing impairment. YouTube videos will be including in presentations so that students can have better understanding on the key concepts of organs and the organ systems. Drawings or charts will be provided to students so they can have clarity on the concept of organ system and how those work. This can also be helpful in the assessments. APST 3.3 encourages teachers to make use of teaching strategies. Throughout this lesson, I have made use of several teaching strategies. This involves the use of engaging question, which will help me to gain students' attention and interest. This will also help me to get an idea on what students already know about the multicellular organisms. Core teaching strategy will essentially be used to set goals as stated by SCU that setting goals for a lesson helps increase student engagement as it enables students to understand the learning intentions of lesson and provide a clear path to success. APST 3.4 encourages teachers to use ICT for learning as it enhances students' learning. Therefore, I made use of ICT as well. I also made use of real life example to give students a better clarity on the concept. Furthermore, I will use the medium of collaborative learning to allow students to engage with each other and take the responsibility of their own learning. For this, students will be grouped in a way that foster peer learning as stated by Southern Cross University. In the later part, students will be encouraged to provide reflection on their learning from the peer discussion. Universal design for learning framework helped me to apply various differentiation strategies for the better learning of students with different abilities. This involved learning intentions and success criteria to display on screen, multimodal resources, use of verbal and written instructions, mixed ability students in group discussion, and provision of headphones and personalized teaching. These proved important for rest of the class as well. The classroom environment will vibrate positive learning, especially with the use of perception, which is specifically used to assist Georgia. It provides in-depth analysis and concept clarity to rest of the class as well. Formative and summative approach will be used for the assessment and feedback criteria. According to Southern Cross University, formative assessment occurs constantly throughout the lesson while students are learning and includes self-assessment and peer assessment. Summative assessment is done by reviewing the completed worksheets. At the end, students will be distributed exit tickets and students will need to fill them before leaving. This will help me to assess their knowledge and provide them effective feedback. According to APST 5.2, providing feedback to students on their learning is crucial for the teachers.